Hi everybody, welcome back to Rose and Jones. So today I want to talk about the new collection from Sylvaine Delacourte. The new collection is the Fleur de l'Orange or Orange Blossom. Sylvaine Delacourte has had two previous collections. The first that she launched was the Musks collection, which I've not yet tried. And then secondly, she came out with the Vanilla collection, which I have in fact got with me. This was the first collection that I purchased and tried out. I haven't done a review on these. I'm not sure why, I just didn't really get round to it. They are pleasant, they're a pleasant collection. If anybody wants me to do a review of the Vanilla collection, I'm more than happy to. But one of them did in fact impress me in that collection, which I did end up purchasing, which I have also mentioned in a previous video. I purchased the Virgil from the Vanilla collections, and I really enjoy this fragrance. This one was the standout one for me, and it stood out by quite a long way in front of the other ones, so this is what I ended up purchasing. I do especially love the bottle designs of Sylvaine Delacourte. It's a very simple, effortless sort of bottle, and I'm such a sucker for a beautiful bottle that often it's an excuse just to try out the fragrances and hope that I love them so that I can just end up owning one of these beautiful bottles. And it is a very simple design, but I do love a simple, classy bottle, and it just feels so lovely in the hand. It's a beautiful turned glass, extremely heavy. Even the lid is really heavy. The bottle design gives you in a way what the fragrance gives you. Very simplistic, understated, elegant scent. So these bottles do really suit the scents and the fragrances, and I do especially love them. So today we're talking about the Orange Blossom collection. This collection was launched last year, 2019, and I've been really excited to sample them all. I've really enjoyed looking at all of the launch pictures and all of the branding that the company has done around these particular scents, and I love the look of Orange Blossom. I do like the scent of it. It's very similar to jasmine, but interestingly I'm not fond of jasmine. But Orange Blossom to me just goes a little bit more warm, and it's just a prettier scent, and I just was very interested to see how the compositions would differ from each one. So like with the other collections, there are 5 different fragrances within the collection, and again like the others, the focus is on a main note. This note obviously is Orange Blossom. So with the use of different notes, you have 5 very different fragrances, very charming little fragrances, all celebrating the note of Orange Blossom. So the names of each fragrance are, of course, as you can see on the box, and they are Oranzo, Alyssia, Osiris, Oscarine, and Ozkan. Before we start talking about the fragrances, I really wanted to show you a little booklet that came with my sample pack. I bought these direct from Sylvaine Delacourte in Paris. And they included this little booklet which contains every single fragrance that they've made so far in the collection, along with the Musks line, along with all the vanilla perfumes as well. And it's a really beautifully done little book. The light has just gone really weird. Why has the light gone really weird? Hang on. And also it gives you a lovely description of each fragrance and what they're supposed to make you feel. So it gives you a lovely piece of information, and I think it's a really handy little booklet. So we'll definitely refer to this through each fragrance that we talk about. So let's start with the first fragrance. We're going to start with Oranzo. So Oranzo is the first one in the box. Focus, damn you. There you go. In the booklet, it's classed as the Icy Orange Blossom, and they want you to focus on the 3 notes of orange, petitgrain, and tarragon. I would disagree with the icy aspect of this. I found it quite a warming scent. It really opens up with this really strong petitgrain, grainy scent. And I find it really interesting actually. It's not something I've smelt before. It really puts in mind this picture of a lady at a window who's preparing dinner, but it's like early morning and she's got all her grains, and maybe they've just been collected off of a nearby field. They're very fresh smelling, in the sense that they are like husks and that kind of earthy grain smell. And she's standing at a window with the beautiful blossom, Orange Blossom, at the window. And I really get transported into this very serene sort of kitchen moment, and that's where I go with this one. So I think the petitgrain is very literal. I think it's a really quite a strong note that you open up with. And the Orange Blossom is a very sort of further back. It's very pretty. It's really pretty. There's neroli in here, which I do think is subtle, but it's bringing quite a fresh sort of, you know, like lemon lime citrus thing. It is a really pretty note in here. Not too sharp, but just enough to give it lift, because otherwise the grain would be too dry, I think. So it is definitely, I would say, the driest of the 5. And I like that the grains are actually quite lifted. They're not too heavy. They're sort of floating above quite delicate florals, this orange blossom and this neroli. It's very sort of a floaty fragrance, but it's unusual. There's a really lovely botanical edge to this as well. And there's a sweetness, I think, is coming from the orange blossom and from the neroli. So to summarise for Oranzo, it is a very pretty, botanical, somewhat dry, petitgrain based orange blossom. So next we have Alyssia. Please focus. There you go. And this one. So Alyssia is described as the floral orange blossom, and I totally agree with that. I've written down this one is just basically the floral one. And this one to me is the truest representation of orange blossom. It is a really beautiful little fragrance. The opening was very, very buttery and very, very bright, really smooth. And it's got a really lovely juicy orange, like a lumosity about it as well. It talks about jasmine and sandalwood and vetiver. And the jasmine in here, I would say, plays quite a big part. It floats up quite quickly with the orange blossom. And in hand, they make a really beautiful, true floral scent. Sorry about the jingling. My cat's decided to start playing with this toy. So Alyssia is a really beautiful fragrance if you're looking for just basically a true orange blossom scent. And it does talk about this being an armful of twirling orange blossoms that immerse you with their velvety fresh petals. Yeah, it's just really focusing on being a really true orange blossom scent. And you know, to me it smells like if it was on the wind. If you've got orange blossom around you, but your nose isn't sort of in it, but the wind's sort of carrying that scent. That's what you're getting. This really delicate, sort of light, floaty orange blossom scent. So next we have Osiris, and this is the one I would call the sweet orange blossom. This is the sweetest one for sure. And it's classed in the booklet as the delicious orange blossom, which I think I would agree with. I like that it opens up with this really beautiful burst of clementine, and this is the one that I was most interested to try because of all the notes. The sound of all the notes were really lovely. I like the idea of sesame, and I've always loved cedar in the base of fragrances, and I really fancied something that was going to be really bright and juicy but also interesting. So this one to me is definitely the sweetest one, although I wouldn't say it was a sweet fragrance. It's not like a really sweet fragrance. It's just out of all 5 of them, this one I think pulls the sweetest. And like I say, the opening is really bright and really beautiful, and it's exactly what I was hoping for. You could almost colour this one yellow, or like a bright yellow, because of all these lovely notes in the beginning. But what's interesting is that kind of disappears, and on my skin I ended up getting this sort of slight bubblegummy smell. Not like really overly synthetic or anything like that, more like a natural bubble gum. And then the bubble gum starts to develop into a lipsticky sort of smell. Now this could be my skin, this could just be me, because I've not heard anyone else on Fragrantica talk about anything to do with lipstick or bubble gum. They just talk about it being really lovely and bright and sweet and like candied orange and this kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Not unpleasant at all, not unpleasant. It's actually quite interesting, but it just didn't stay where I was expecting it to be. It's a really lovely one, and it is really pleasant. So next we have Oscarine, and this is classed as a juicy orange blossom. So I would actually call this slightly soapy, I'd call it the clean one, but also definitely the lightest of the bunch. And I'd go as far as to say that it disappears completely on my skin, at least because I'm comparing it to the others. Definitely a mention of raspberry at one point. I'm sure I saw that somewhere. Blackcurrant. Oh yeah, at the top it says vibrant, mischievous raspberry intersecting with. I think they've made a mistake, because it really just highlights the blackcurrant in two places and then talks about raspberry at the top. That could be a typo. but we'll just say fruits. We'll just say, you know, a berry fruit that's in here. And it would have been lovely if, in fact, the fruit and the basil was more prominent, because basil is lovely. It seems really interesting, but it's a very flat smell. It's smooth. It's slightly more youthful. There's nothing unusual in here. There's nothing that you can really pinpoint. I'm trying to literally search for notes, and I would say it was the most light and delicate fragrance with a hint of orange blossom and maybe a hint of fruit. It's quite a clean, smooth, safe scent. So last but by no means least, we have Ozkan. Before I smell Ozkan, I really thought Osiris had the biggest personality and the most bright opening. Ozkan is classed as the leathery orange blossom. It has tonka bean, leather and patchouli. They're the notes they are focusing on here. I think this is the most daring and the most confident fragrance of the lot. It has the most character and the most uniqueness. But it has a beautiful bright opening, and although it's not listed, I would have to describe the opening as aniseedy mixed with orange and orange blossom. It's a really lovely spicy orange blossom. I'd really class this one as aromatic because those spices in here, the aroma is absolutely beautiful. But I get the leather as well. There's definitely a beautiful smooth leather in here that's very close with the tonka bean. Those two notes are providing a beautiful base, but there's still this beautiful bright orange on top of everything, and it kind of ends up with this kind of Christmassy seasonal, like, you know, that Christmas holiday thing. It really reminds me of, you know, when you have oranges hanging up around a Christmas tree and they've got spices sort of poked into them. That's kind of what I picture when I smell this. There's also quite a powdery sweetness in here as well, which I guess is the tonka bean. But it definitely has the most layers. It really does. It's actually it sits quite nicely as unisex as well. I think the majority of these lean feminine. This one is very nicely unisex, I think. So those are my thoughts and feelings on the Orange Blossom collection. I've really enjoyed this entire collection. I think there's something for everyone here. I think they all sit very differently and all offer something really beautiful. These little discovery sets are a fantastic way to sample each of the collections. You get 2 mils of fragrance in each sample. It costs €10 direct from the Sylvaine Delacourte Paris website. And also now, which is really, really handy, is each fragrance now comes in different sizes, which is brilliant. So now they are available in 7.5 mils, 30 mils, and of course the 100 mil. Are you a lover of Orange Blossom? What is your favourite Orange Blossom scent? And which of these sounds appealing to you? And that is all. There's not much more I can say. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the Orange Blossom collection. I've really enjoyed sampling every single fragrance. They are beautifully blended. They are so delicate and they are so elegant. I'm looking forward to giving them a lot more wear. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon on my next one. Take care now. Bye.